The Mountain Railway, based on Mountain Engines by Wilbur Tawdry. Sir Handel had had a bad day. The old coaches of the narrow gauge railway, Ruth, Lucy, Jemima, Beatrice, and Angus, had gave him quite some trouble. He returned to the sheds later that morning, feeling sulky. "Those coaches pushed me," he said. "They act like they know everything about railways. And when I tell Mr. Percival they were the one that caused me to have a derailment, he always says I'm just making excuses." I honestly don't know those coaches.
"I won't have such insults towards my dears,"
said Scullery, who was sitting alongside.
"Those dears deserve kindness, not bad names."
"Quite right," said Rheneas, who was sitting alongside. "You call yourself lucky, Sir Handel, we don't run a mountain railway." "A mountain railway? What's that?" asked Sir Handel. He was puzzled. Scullery explained.
"It's a railway that climbs mountains, of course."
"But they can't," said Sir Handel. "The engine's wheels would just slip."
"But they can,"
added Scullery.
"We know of a railway not too far from here who uses the mountain railway."
"It can't."
"It can."
"It can't." "It can." A noisy argument started amongst the three engines, as Douglas was puffing alongside, pushing a flatbed with a rather strange engine atop it. The engine had 4 driving wheels, 2 pairs of wheels at the back, two small wheels at the back. His boiler was slanted, and his pistons appeared to be placed back to front.
"Wait,"
said Douglas.
"Don't wake that wee engine. He's tired, he is. He just returned back from England after getting overhauled."
"What's his name?" asked Rheneas.
"He's called Culdee, after the mountain railway he works on,"
answered Douglas.
"What did we tell you?"
smirked Scullery. "Huh, I don't believe it," snorted Sir Handel.
"Huh? Well, you better ask him yourself, then,"
snorted Douglas, as he puffed away to refill with water, feeling quite offended. Not too long later, Culdee woke up to find the 3 engines staring at him.
"Where am I?"
The water engines told him.
Oh, that's good. I know you're home now,"
smiled Culdee. "Do you really run a mountain railway?" asked Sir Handel, puzzled.
"Oh, yes. Not just me. There's several other engines, too,"
smiled Culdee.
There were other engines. Number 2 was named Ernest, number 3 was named Wilfred, and number 5 was named Shane Dooney. We work our little railway with pride." "Who was your number 1?
asked Scullery.
"That would go to Godred. But I can leave the story for later. For now,
if you don't mind me asking, Culdee," says Sir Handel, how can you run a railway that climbs a mountain?"
"Oh, we run. It's not that complex,"
smiled Culdee, thinking back to when he was built.
"We mountain engines are designed with slanted boilers, so it minimalizes boiler explosions."
The 3 Scullery railway engines grimaced at that. They knew how deadly a boiler explosion could be to an engine.
"We're also designed,"
continued Culdee,
our driving wheels have gears in the middle of them. They have teeth, you see, which connects to a rack rail, which is essentially a third rail with teeth and prints. And our driving wheels with gears are able to give us better traction up the mountain."
The three engines stared in amazement. "Aren't you ever frightened?"
asked Sandal. "Not really. What would I have to be frightened about?" chuckled Culdee. "Our drivers make sure we keep a regular speed. So do our coaches. Mine's called Catherine, and I know her well." Hmm. There was one time I was frightened. Very frightened indeed. And Culdee began his story. Before our railway opened back in 1900, he began, I was given a test. One of us was to take a testing train of two coaches up to the top of the mountain railway. They chose the directors chose me. I was quite excited. The other engines warned me, but I didn't take much notice. Little did I know, he chuckled. Pushing two coaches up a mountain isn't as easy as pushing one. The journey started simple enough. I pushed both my coaches up to the top of the mountain, and then I stopped. Then, when we got to the summit station, they went to have some tea. "All right, Culdee," said the inspector. "We've seen how well you can push two coaches up the mountain. Let's see how well you can let's see how well you can handle going down." "Brakes off, driver," said the ins- said the director. I was worried for a second, but without my without my brakes, if I don't use my if driver doesn't use his brakes, there's a chance I could possibly come off the rails. "Hmm, it doesn't sound that bad," said Sir Handel. "Well, yes," said Coley, "but I work for Culdee Fell Mountain Railway." "And Culdee Fell is the biggest mountain on this island, Sandal," said Scullery. Sir Handel gulped. "And considering it's a mountain railway, there's a lot of sharp bends. That's why there's no such thing as mountain railway tender engines. At least as far as I'm aware. Anyway, continued Culdee, I started to roll down the I started to roll down the mountain. The two coaches pushed against me. I was terrified. My driver went to go went to apply my brakes. "Hands off!" ordered the director. I felt panic stricken as I started to go faster and faster down the mountain. Then the thought hit me. I have automatic brakes. I could use I Automatic brakes are brakes that I can apply on my own accord. Perhaps the director possibly wanted to see if I could use them. And proved it, I did. I hit my brakes as I applied my automatic brakes carefully at first, and then, just as we just as we were about to pass over a sharp bend, I stopped. "Well done, Culdee," said the director. "I think you've proven yourself really useful." I couldn't help but smile at this. "So, what am I exactly meant to learn from this?" "Well, simply you would have to learn about the dangers of a mountain railway," chuckled Culdee. "Thank you for the story, Culdee. How long do you plan to stay here?" "Not too long, I hope." "Well, we hope you stay for a while. We'd like to hear all the stories you have on your railway," said Rheneas. "Well, there isn't that much that happens on my railway, but I'd be fine with telling you." "Do tell us," said Sir Handel, Scullow, and Rheneas all together. Culdee chuckled and told him some other stories that happened on his mountain railway.